Okay, Mayor, we are live.
Good evening, everyone. I've got a few things to read. We want to welcome you to the Graham City Council meeting. This is May the 12th, 2020. For this meeting, the City of Graham is convening by Zoom video phone conference as posted on City of Graham's website, identifying how the public may join. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, this meeting is being held via Zoom platform. The meeting will be live streamed on the City of Graham's YouTube page at www.youtube.com. Again, www.youtube.com, and type in the City of Graham, North Carolina. Please note this meeting is being recorded. If anyone is having technical problems or connection difficulties, call Preston Jenkins at 336-347-8674, and he will help you. Again, that number is 336-347-8674. For items not on the agenda tonight, public comments, in easy words, to address the council of this meeting, please indicate that you wish to do so by using the raised hand feature on Zoom, or if you want to call on telephone, press *9 for our meeting host will notify me that you wish to speak. As preliminary matter, I'm Mayor Jerry Peterman. I'd like to confirm that all the members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. First, I'll call the council members. Mayor Pro Tem Chip Turner.
Yes, sir.
Council Member Melody Wiggins.
Here.
Council Member Jennifer Talley.
Yes.
Council Member Ricky Hall.
Yes, sir.
So everyone is here. City Manager Frankie Manus.
I'm here, Mayor.
Assistant City Manager Aaron Holland.
I'm here.
City Attorney Brian Coleman. Brian, are you still with us? City Clerk Darcy Sperry.
Here.
Planning Director Nathan Page. Nathan, are you with us tonight? All right, I know Brian was chasing his dog a while ago, so he might have taken him to take him outside. Now we'll call our meeting to order. We'll ask everybody to mute your phones or whatever you're using, your iPads. Let's see here. I'll do invocation. Would you bow your heads with me, please? Heavenly Father, for this day, we thank you for the beautiful weather and for the time we have with you today. As we go through this life, please help those that are helping us and help those that are sick from this pandemic, and let us get back to normal as soon as we possibly can. Be with the city staff and the city people, the citizens of Graham, and let them be healthy and let them be prosperous and let them go forth and be a blessing to you. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen. Now I think we're going to go to Jeff for something. Jeff, if you would. Not getting Jeff. So what we're going to do is go straight to our meeting. First, the consent.
It's coming up, Mayor.
All right, this is our agenda right here. First, the consent agenda, approval of minutes, March 4th, 2020, special session. B is approved minutes, March 10th, 2020, regular session. C is approved traffic schedule amendments. D is approved Clean Water State Revolving Fund resolution. And E is petition for voluntary contiguous annexation of 13.818 acres located on 919 through 957 Woody Drive. Does anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda?
I have a question, Mayor, about E.
All right, we'll pull E. Anything else? Then I need a motion to approve A, B, C, and D of the consent agenda.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
moved.
yeah, we're all doing on that one, buddy.
All right, I have a motion and a second. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. The consent agenda was approved unanimously. Now we'll go to E, petition for voluntary contiguous annexation. Jennifer, you had a question?
My question was just about notice, like how in this situation that we're dealing with right now, how people were notified about the annexation.
All right, we'll go to Frankie, if you want to handle this for us. Anybody there? Frankie or Aaron, one of you handle this?
Need to unmute yourself there, Frankie.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there we go.
I'm sorry.
All right.
So public notice, obviously there's multiple steps in the annexation process. All of those public steps are done at an open meeting of the council. Anyone on the sunshine list or anyone interested can attend those meetings. The final step is a public hearing, which would require normal advertising. I think it's in a paper of general circulation, as well as on the agenda item. So there will be a public hearing at the next council meeting, which the resolution stipulates is June 9th. And that is the option for the public to weigh in on the feasibility of annexation or any other comment they may have. So that's effectively what this resolution is doing, is authorizing that public hearing and the staff to move forward with publication.
Okay, so when you do that, you will be putting out, signs and you'll be putting stuff in the paper. Will you send out letters to contiguous property owners?
I don't recall that we send out letters to contiguous owners for an annexation. Those are typically for rezonings and special use permits.
Right, well, I was just asking because some people are not going out of their house, so I don't know if they'd see a sign. So that's why I was wanting to know, are you doing anything special for this based on the stay-at-home order?
No, business as usual
Okay.
for annexations.
Okay,
I want to chime in here. I actually believe that's an awfully good point. Since we're asking people to stay in, maybe we should do that this time and send letters to the contiguous property owners. Shouldn't be too many, should it?
Probably not.
And I will
think
do
one of the contiguous owners is the petitioner.
right. Well, we still need to send in one just in case. But this is just setting a date for the hearing. So yeah, let's take that, and these are special times. Let's do something with that.
We can do that.
Does anybody else have any questions about, let's see, this is E on the consent agenda. I have the motion here in front of me. If nobody has any questions, I move we approve the resolution fixing the date of June the 9th, 2020 for a public hearing on question of annexation pursuant to GS 160A-31 for 13.81 acres of Woody Drive.
I second it.
Thank you, sir. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. The motion carries unanimously. Thank you. That's the consent agenda. Next, we go to the requests and petitions of citizens. We have an encroachment license agreement request by Court Square Development for property located at 21 Southeast Court Square. Frankie, are you handling this for us, please?
I actually doing that, Mayor.
Okay. All right, Aaron, thank you. If you give us a rundown on it.
No problem. As you just said, Court Square Development Group LLC has submitted a written request and supporting photos for a proposed grease trap to be installed adjacent to the sidewalk at 21 Southeast Court Square. The intent of the grease trap is to serve a future restaurant at the location. An encroachment license agreement approved by City Council is required pursuant to Section 18-2C of the city's Code of Ordinances. The city has approved a couple of these encroachment license agreements over the past 12 months, one being at 20 Southwest Court Square for Jason Cox, and the other for John Zhang at 139 West Elm Street for the C&Z Grill Asian restaurant.
Thank you, sir. Before we ask questions of the staff, does anybody want to make any motions or any, do you want to recuse yourself, Jennifer? I guess is what I'm asking.
Jennifer, you got your mic turned off.
Yeah, I don't know how I walk off the stage, but yes, recuse me. I don't know technically how to do that, but
Mine. You recuse yourself because you own the property you and Chuck. Okay, I need a motion to recuse Jennifer. Thank you, ma'am. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, sir. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Uh,
I oppose likewise. Thank you, Jennifer. This is business as usual. Do y'all want to discuss this or are you ready to take a vote on
I'm ready to take a vote on this, Mayor.
it? Melody?
I am as well.
Okay. If everybody's all right with that, then I'm gonna make the motion. Since I've got it here on a piece of paper, I move to authorize the city manager and the city attorney to enter into an encroachment license agreement with Court Square Development Group LLC for the purpose of a grease trap on 21 Southeast Court Square as identified by the submitted photos and the following conditions. Provide proof and maintenance of $1 million in liability insurance with the city as additional insured. Provide a final survey to confirm approved use of the public space. Improvements under the encroachment license must be made prior to expiration of the building permit. And that's all. With that, I need a second.
I second the
Second.
motion, Mayor.
Okay, any more discussion? Then I need all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. All right, that's everything on our agenda for tonight. Now, I do have one question from, let me get it here, a question from the public. And here is the first public comment via email. I received it tonight, last night. Can you either read it or, okay, that's Darcy's instruction to me. My name is Jeannie Neal, 967 Woody Drive in Graham, North Carolina, 27253. And my topic is small business support in Graham. What are we doing to support our small, locally owned business, make it through the COVID-19 crisis? These businesses, many which are relatively new, make our community the unique place that it is. Is there some way we can set up a fund where folks could donate to their favorite restaurant and other businesses in order to keep the doors open when it comes time to reopen them? And my answer to that was that we had been talking about this and we were going to discuss it during our budget session individually with all five of us. We had asked Mary to look at it and to come out with some information that other people are trying to do. Is that enough answer for y'all, or does anybody else want to add anything to that answer?
I think that sounds good, Mayor.
Anybody else got anything to add? You know what I did forget? I forgot to bring Jennifer back into the meeting, didn't I? She's sitting over there in the audience somewhere. Jennifer, would you come back up and join us?
okay,
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry I left you out, didn't I?
that's okay.
Did you hear the statement from Ms. O'Neill?
Yeah, I guess I'm a little concerned that, I'm not exactly, I attended that meeting that they had, I think the chamber, somebody put it on, Mary sent me the invitation, and, I guess one of the questions that I had was, how do you get by the thing about illegal emollients, with city money? So, I mean, if there's I guess a good way to do it and people that are paying money in know that it's going for that specific purpose, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I think you're going to have pushback from a lot of citizens if you start using city tax dollars to supplement income from businesses, that income loss from businesses.
I agree,
know,
Jennifer. Asking.
Huh?
She was asking, could you set up a fund and us be the GoFundMe handler?
Yeah,
Is what she's asking, not city funds. This was not
Right.
what she. she was asking if we could set up a fund like a ghost. We're reinventing the GoFundMe page is what she's doing.
All right,
which-
you had referenced though Mary, and Mary was, I know she was looking into whether there was a fund to actually like provide loans and or money to businesses during this time, local downtown businesses. And that was one of the questions that I had at the meeting that I was attending. So I thought you were referring to that as well. Sorry.
Her question was more of a self-help thing for the citizens to help Melody's restaurant or yours, or chip a yard to mow. But I think she's reinventing the GoFundMe page is what she's really doing. We could do something like that, a GoFundMe page, and have it given out. But we wanted to discuss what other people are doing during our budget talks, what other people are doing to try to help the individual restaurants, bars, any business that might be suffering during this thing that's been closed for a good while. So you will get that information as we do our budget in the next week or so, as we talk about that. Is that a good enough answer for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to add anything to that?
So what are you saying in the budget? What are you looking at doing in the budget? Because we've kind of like not been able to have our budget meeting or anything like that.
Well, pretty soon, the next week, we're going to start scheduling sit-down budget sessions with the council. We have to, because we haven't got but the July. So we've got to do it before July. So I think we've gone through, is Brian with us yet? We figured out we can do it 2-on-1, city manager, me, and each one of you individually, and do it that way instead of doing a full out meeting. And I think legally we can do that. We won't be doing any passing of anything. We'll just be discussing it between three of us and whoever else needs to come in as far as the city staff goes. So these things will be talked about during that time. Is that all right with everyone? Is that suitable for y'all?
Brian is here, Mayor, if you need to talk. to him.
Okay. Brian, did you hear what we were talking about?
It kind of went in and out, but I think I got the most of it.
Okay.
Not meeting with a full,
Not
Well,
meeting with the quorum,
agreed.
we're meeting with me and the individual council persons, and one at a time. So there'll be at least 3 meetings. There'll be one with me and the city staff, and then one with me and Melody, one with me and Chip, one with me and Ricky, and one with me and Jennifer. And
This is-
then that way we'll get a little bit of knowledge of what we're talking about.
gotcha. Okay.
That is a legal procedure.
You know, I don't, you're never meeting with more, but you get into that question about sequential meetings, but if there's no decisions, you know, let me do a little bit more research on that. But I think for somebody to ding us later on about you have a sequential meetings going on. So let me do a little bit more research.
Okay.
We'll-
All right, do a little research and let us know, and then we'll start scheduling that. If we can do that, we'll start scheduling next week. Our other option is to go into a big place and be 6 foot apart from each other and do it that way,
I understand.
which we can do that too. So, all right, thank you, sir. Now, let's poll everyone. Has anybody got anything? Let's see, Aaron, are you still there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. I have nothing to add.
Darcy,
No, nothing, sir.
Frankie,
Everyone stay safe.
Brian, did you have anything else to offer? I'm checking off names as I go. Jennifer, since you're on the screen there, have you got anything?
I just have a couple of questions. Frankie, what were you able to find out, or have you started the paperwork for getting the money from the federal government for the projects for the local government, the money that was set aside for local government?
So most of the federal money is passing through the state, through the CARES Act. I believe the state has appropriated 150 million of the 300 million available to North Carolina. It has been appropriated through 2 counties. There is no specific designation for cities at this point. We have been in conversation with the county, and they, at least on a staff level, are open to the idea of sharing some of those funds with the municipalities that that worked in concert with the county in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. So we are actively involved in conversations, and we will attempt to recover any funds for our response that we're due. We are keeping records and an account of the activities that we have been involved in, and we'll continue to work with state and county officials.
So we have to go through the county in order to get the money.
At this point, the funds that have been released, yes, that is the case. There's an additional $150 million that the state of North Carolina has. I don't know that there's been a definitive decision on what to do with that money and how it will funnel down if it does. And there's lobbying efforts on behalf of cities going on now currently in Congress and at the state level about revenue replacement. Some of those things I can't answer, but I can assure you if we're due anything, we're going to pursue it.
What were your sales tax last month compared to last year?
So we will not have a full knowledge of the impact for a couple months. Our
No, I
sales
know
tax
that-
receipts are about 3 months behind.
But so you don't even, what do you mean? You don't receive it from North Carolina Department of Revenue until 3 months after that specific month?
Yes, ma'am. They're about 3 months.
So if this was really started March, April, May, June, well, that's not the time to find out, is at the end of the budget session. So you don't have any idea whatsoever, like the revenues coming in or any different? I mean, you can't even find out what they are at the state level?
Nothing definitive at this point. Again, we will get our next distribution of sales tax here in the next few days. That will be from February, I believe, which would be pre-pandemic. February is generally a slower month, as is January. So the receipts towards the end of the year are slower by nature. The first distribution will probably be July, I'm guessing, where we will notice if there's going to be a difference, it would be noticed in that distribution. Those amounts are accrued in the current year, which makes our job very difficult as budget crafters and those that are trying to sew up the current year budget. We have to forecast receipts that we have no idea about that we will receive in July, August, and sometimes even September.
Well, I'm curious to know what those end up being, because it seems like it just, I think that people spent their money differently, but I don't know that people just didn't spend. So I'm hopeful. In other words, like I talked to Jerry about this, in the beginning, seemed like the unintended consequence was that people were funneling their money to the big box stores and things like that. I'm wondering, based on what stores we have here in the city limits of Graham, how we can make sure that those sales tax dollars come here. Because I think people were still spending money. I mean, thank goodness we have at least the 2 grocery stores, because grocery stores did great during this. They had a lot of sales tax that they collected way over their normal numbers. So at least that gives some hope that the sales tax dollars were still spent. I just wonder if sales tax dollars went out of the city that normally would have been spent in the city.
So to that point, the way sales tax is calculated in Alamance County and North Carolina is if it's spent in Alamance County, we will get our share of it. So
It doesn't matter, but so like people that are coming from Winston to buy here, we're still going to get that. It's because they bought here regardless of whether it's in Graham or not, and then we just get paid on our population.
that's correct. It's a per capita
Okay.
calculation, and as long as we can keep it keep those sales in Alamance County, that would benefit our sales tax receipts.
Okay. And so we had talked earlier in the month about you applying for things, but you checked into that and there's nothing that we can apply for. No utility improvements or anything like that we could fund or anything like that.
At this point, nothing has officially been released or opened up to municipalities. We do have our ear to the ground and listening for those things to open up. And we do have a couple projects in the queue that we may be able to move up the list and get some funds. We're similar to what we did in the 2009 stimulus package. So we do have a couple of projects in the queue, and would be very nice to have some federal or state assistance as these projects are daunting projects.
Okay. The other thing that I wanted to discuss is if anybody on the council has any input or any advice or any comments about some of the things that businesses seem to really need is additional supplies and training for small businesses. So like, for instance, when someone comes to your store, leave your doors open, when it's nice weather so that you don't have to touch a door handle. Where can you get the signage to put on the floor? What are some of the things that, you can do to try to keep customers now that they're able to go out safer? And I think, there's a huge lack of supplies for like being able to, there's a lot of businesses that are saying, well, I'd like to be able to use Lysol wipes, but I can't find them anywhere. So is there any resources that maybe our local government has that could help these small businesses get access? I mean, they're not asking for anything free, but they just can't find some of these supplies like masks and Lysol and, different kinds of cleaning products and things like that.
We as a city are experiencing some of those same issues with personal protective equipment. For example, we're continuously being cautioned to use those things such as masks very sparingly, as there could be disruptions and are disruptions in supply chains from time to time. So we do share in some of those struggles to get certain materials. There are some resources specific to business. I know the Chamber of Commerce has some resources. There's a website for business as a reference for businesses. We are trying to keep our website updated with comprehensive information regarding the current conditions, the response, and the resources, and we will continue to do that.
Well, does anybody know where you can access any of these hand sanitizer stands or anything like that, where we can? I had a lot of businesses ask me that, and I said I would say something at the next meeting. I mean, do we have any access to any of that information?
Well, I don't have an answer. Anybody else?
We have sanitizing. We don't have the stations. We just have the bottles, and all of that was done online after all of this began. We ordered and have all of that available. So we are using that, and we use masks on a daily basis. And again, part of that comes from online. Part of it comes from suppliers who are healthcare workers in the health profession.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else have anything add on that?
The only other thing, Mayor, that one of the things that they've talked about is there any resources for legal stuff? You've got some businesses that are saying, we're concerned about the liability of reopening. We're concerned about making employees come back to work because the type of work that they do, you really have to be present versus you can't really do it virtual. What is they don't know their legal rights as an employer to either let that person go. They have lots of, there's all the businesses that have, I can tell you from my personal experience, I have 6 insurance policies that have business interruption insurance, and all of them across North Carolina, and I'm sure across the country, are being denied. So they don't know what their legal rights are to protect the rights that they have. They say they're filing class action lawsuits everywhere, but these local businesses, there's a lot of them are just mom and pop, and they can't really afford a lawyer. But if there's any legal resources or any PPPE, personal protection resources out here, I know these local businesses would like to be able to have that, and hopefully maybe with our new website, we can try to funnel that information to those local businesses by posting something on the website.
Okay. If we see anything or we run into anything, we'll ask staff to post those. Thank you, Jennifer. Good points. Mayor Pro Tem, if you got anything? Unmute yourself.
Thank you. No, sir.
Melly Wiggins, you've been running your business. How have y'all been doing? And let me have a run down, and if you got anything else to add.
I do not have anything else to add, Mr. Mayor. We are actually doing fine. This is a type of business that we actually operate anyway. So like Jennifer was mentioning, we are taking those safety precautions. Our doors are always open.
Yes.
And so we are doing a very good curbside and walk-in business. They may walk in and order, but that's the kind of business that we have. It's a pickup kind of thing. So we are actually doing very well.
Good. I'm happy to hear it. Y'all been real active in the using the internet. Both of you have, and that's really helped. You've not only put your own business out there, but other people's too. And we all appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ricky, have you got anything? Ricky Hall, have you got anything?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. Well, I asked Jeff, have we got any more callers, any more questions?
We have 5 attendees that may need to ask questions, Mr. Mayor.
All right. You want to put that out to them?
Sure. If we have any attendees currently on the Zoom meeting and you would like to make a comment during the public session, go ahead and click the raise your hand button, and we will drag you in one at a time to ask the council questions.
Am I supposed to see someone coming in, or are you? seeing
I'm
that?
monitoring, I'm watching the waiting room right now, and as of right now, we don't have any hands raised. Might want to give them another minute.
All right, well, I will just go ahead and talk for a second. I do want to thank the city staff for doing everything they've done. We've done a great job because our business, as far as the city goes, this thing has impacted us in a negative way. We're doing more business than we've done before. So it's costing us more. I think we're into our fund balance a little bit right now. Frankie can tell me if that's true. But, everybody's at home cleaning up. Everybody's home doing brush and changing out stuff, and the bulk pickups are increasing. All these people are home. The waters, our water production is going up. So I want to thank those guys for the hard work they put in. We've done some innovative stuff where we split our shifts up, where we have one crew working one place and one another, so we don't take an entire shift of sanitation workers out or something like that. They're working some funny hours. I was down here today, down below my house, and some guy that usually mows at the cemetery showed up to mow the boulevard down there. So we're doing what we can, and I want to thank each and every one of them for what they're doing, especially the police officers and firefighters and the maintenance people that are handling this stuff that could be detrimental to their health. As you well know, they are really running hard, and people are at home. People's tempers are flaring a little bit, so the fire department, police department's running a little harder. Anyway, I'll go back to Jeff. Jeff, have you got anything?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor, not as of right now. No one has raised their hand.
With that being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion that we adjourn.
Thank you, Ricky. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed likewise. Let the motion show that it was unanimous. Everybody be careful. Thank you for being here tonight. I was gonna play the Brady Bunch theme. I played it earlier because they invented this thing, by the way. So y'all be safe and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Why don't you raise your hand? I want to go on record as a troublemaker. Wait a minute, Mayor. We just decided what to do with it. Well, so we gotta make some decision. Well, you might. Why not donate it to the State Museum? Yeah, State Museum, that's a good.
All right.